story of an amazing achievement. Alexander the Great, the boy who conquered the world. More than 2,000 years ago, in the ancient kingdom of Macedonia, a boy was born. His name was Alexander. He was son of King Philip II. From the moment he was young, people realized something about Alexander. He was restless. He was a hard-working person. And he always wanted to learn something new. His teacher was Aristotle, one of the greatest thinkers of his time. Aristotle taught Alexander about philosophy, geography, and stories of heroic warriors. Alexander thought that he could too achieve something as great. But when Alexander was only 20 years old, his father, King Philip II, died. So this would mean that the young prince from Macedonia would become king. Neighboring kingdoms didn't really believe in Alexander, that they thought that he was too young, too inexperienced to be a leader. They thought that Macedonia would just crumble. But Alexander had a fire that burned inside. He reunited his people. He assembled an army, and he made one bold decision, and that was to invade the superpower of the age, the Persian Empire. With about 40,000 men, he crossed the Hellespont into modern-day Turkey. At the river Granicus, he was met by a Persian army. But Alexander and his army, for them to attack the enemy, they had to go through a river. At Issus, Alexander faced King Darius III himself, the king of Persia. Even though Alexander was outnumbered by an estimate of 2-1, he still beat Darius. At Gaugamela, which is probably one of the most studied battles in history, he defied all odds and beat the Persian army, which was 2 times larger than his own army. Alexander's purpose wasn't to destroy the world, but instead to reunite it under one massive empire. Alexander crossed mountains, rivers, valleys, all the way to India, farther than any Greek leader before him. His men were tired and also complained to Alexander because his men marched for more than thousands and thousands of miles. Even though Alexander was furious, he had to turn the army around. Upon his return, Alexander was met by distant embassies from Ethiopians, Libyans, Italians, Iberians, Gauls, and much more. All came to recognize his greatness as a leader. But Alexander, before he could launch his new campaign to Arabia and beyond, he developed a fever and unfortunately died days later, aged just 32. Alexander died undefeated in battle. To the Persians, he was Alexander the Accursed, but to the West, he was immortalized as Alexander the Great. Thank you.